This will be a video response that I don't normally do to contests for Dr. Zeeman. I figured rather than sit here and watch me talk, you can watch me try and change the battery in my Jeep with no tools. Well, 2 adjustable crescent wrenches. Throughout my life I've acquired many tools, and unfortunately I've let people borrow them. And that usually results in them never coming back. So he wanted people to make responses about facing adversity and challenges. And I've faced quite a number in my lifetime, but I would rather than tell you about them to give you advice that I've learned from them. No matter what it is that you're facing, whether it's crossing a mountain, dealing with the death of a loved one, or you know, a family pet, or just pain that you're enduring for some reason or another, you just have to take a step back and look. And all of these other challenges that you've faced in your life, you have to remember that you always walk away with something more than what you started with. Every time you face something and you conquer it, or even if you don't, you gain more knowledge in your life, or new skills, or new respect. I remember when I'm going to tell you one right now. It's like last year in August I got meningitis, and that was not fun. It's rare that I will cry from pain, but the headaches that you get from it had me in tears. I walked away with a new respect for the fact that, you know, I gain more for my mortality, because I tend to be reckless and not care about things that I'm doing to myself, and I will just go off and do whatever. But I've toned down on that a little bit. I walk a little bit softer close, you know, when I'm near edges of anything, whether it be danger or actual edges of cliffs. And I also walked away with having relapse headaches every so often. But you always gain something every time you face a challenge. And just always remember that there's friends and family there to help you. One thing that I am faulted for is I have a really hard time accepting help. But you need to just swallow your pride and accept help if you need it. I mean, I almost died a few times now because I would refuse to go to doctors or accept help from others. Skill sets that you would want to acquire in your life is another thing you wanted to talk about. I strive to be skilled in pretty much anything and everything I can be. I would rather learn how to fix something myself than to try and pay someone hundreds of dollars to do it. Like this Jeep, I can't tell you how many things I've worked on it. I've had it for probably over 10 years, and I have changed the gaskets, the rotors, the brakes, the tires, the wheels, the exhaust several times. I mean, this thing has more blood than me of mine. So that right there is fun. I would rather that, and you always want to have those friends that know how to fix everything. So I get a lot of beer for doing stuff. And that's another thing, is you always want to be skilled in everything just so you can help your friends and your family. Take care of them. Take care of yourself. Be self-sufficient. I'd rather learn how to change my brakes and pay $20 for brake pads and pay hundreds of dollars for Pep Boys to do it. That, and I can trust work that I do myself more than I can trust someone else doing it. And let me think, a story tell grandkids. I don't have too many of those. I think my best stories have yet to be written. I can tell you a story I heard about my grandfather. Well, a few stories. He was a World War II, and to me, he was a hero. Alright, battery's out. He was a tail gunner. I'll attach a link to the story that was put out a long time ago. But he was a tail gunner and a bomber. And they had gotten hit, so they got the order to eject. And he was the first one out. He had his parachute on already, I think. Jumped out. He pulled the cord and the chute failed to open. So, if that isn't adversity and challenge, I don't know what is. He actually turned the chute around and ripped it open himself. And he grabbed it and threw it up in the air. And luckily it opened and deployed, and he safely descended. Then when he hit the water, he got tangled in his parachute, which is, I mean, that's a fate right there. He struggled, and he pulled the cord on his personal life preserver, but it had a failure to inflate and only inflated. From what I've heard, I've never actually heard the story from him when I was too young, but it only inflated about halfway, and he had a hard time untangling himself, caught in all these parachute cords and in the parachute. He finally got up to the surface of the ocean, and he hadn't attached his one-man life raft to his vest, so he had only a half-filled life preserver with his chute still dragging on him, which he finally got disconnected from him. And he was probably in the water for at least an hour before a boat got to him, and they finally rescued him. And they had asked him, how it was, and he said, well, everything that could go wrong did go wrong, but he's still, but I'm still alive. He learned a few new prayers, but he's still alive. And if that's not facing and challenging adversity, then I don't know what is. And hopefully the way that I face mine and you will face yours is just as well. Hopefully no one will ever have to face that or anything as bad. But just remember to always keep your head.